This is the Executive Profile, exclusively on CBT News. Today's episode has been sponsored by the Presidio Group.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me on another edition of the Executive Profile, sponsored by the Presidio Group. Troy Duhon, a distinguished automotive entrepreneur and philanthropist, has dedicated his life to both the automotive industry and humanitarian efforts. As the president of Premier Automotive Group, he oversees a network of 39 dealerships across the U.S. Beyond his business achievements, Troy is the founder of the Giving Hope Foundation, a nonprofit organization committed to feeding thousands daily and building orphanages worldwide. His unwavering dedication to community service earned him the 2024 Time Dealer of the Year award. In this episode of the Executive Profile, Troy shares his inspiring journey from a young car porter to a leading figure in both the automotive and philanthropic sectors. He discusses the profound impact of Hurricane Katrina on his life and how it catalyzed his commitment to giving back. Troy also delves into the mission of the Giving Hope Foundation, highlighting its global initiatives and the transformative power of community involvement. Join us now as we explore the life and legacy of Troy Duhon, a man whose passion for cars is only surpassed by his dedication to making the world a better place. Troy Duhon, thank you so much for having us here. This has been
a pleasure.
I'm so looking forward to today's interview with you. You do specifically such great work. For those that are not familiar with Troy, Troy is the founder and owner of Premier Auto Group, but really I think his passion, it's safe to say, is the fact that you're the co-founder of Giving Hope New Orleans, right? And,
yes.
And I'm so excited to talk to you about that. So let's kind of start there, because you just took me on a tour and our crew here of all of the great things that you're doing with Giving Hope. So let's start right there. Why Giving Hope? What caused that?
When you go through a Katrina,
Yeah.
and you're 39 years old and everything you have goes underwater, you think you're done.
Yeah.
Like literally, I thought I was done.
Yeah.
And I got 35 million insurance receivables. I don't know. And then we were actually supporting another food bank at the time, and
Okay.
I told the mayor at the time, I said, listen, you give me electricity to my Honda store and I'll start feeding people, because FEMA wasn't set up. The water had gotten so high in New Orleans East that the water didn't reside.
Right.
So we started feeding people.
Okay.
1,200 cars a day.
1,200
And I'm
cars.
watching my employees, Jim, come in, wasn't pulling sheetrock at their homes, they're actually serving these people.
And their homes are underwater.
A lot of their homes were underwater.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
And I saw the joy on their face.
Sure.
And now remember, I'm thinking, I'm BK, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm a faith guy. So I said, Lord, if you get me through this, the rest of my career will be giving back.
Wow.
And guess what happened? I had 5 dealerships at the time. Now I have 39.
Wow.
And I do give back a lot.
Yeah.
So every car we sell,
Yeah.
we donate money to Giving Hope.
Wow.
Think of all the people that make money on me.
Sure.
Toyota, General Motors, Honda, Chrysler.
All the vendors.
Allied Bank,
Right.
Capital One, Cox Automotive, I could go, Petra Oil.
Sure.
They all support Giving Hope because they believe in what we're doing.
Right. Right.
So today, we operate food banks here in New Orleans, Kansas City, Monterey, California. We've got a big one opening up in Escondido. Through Brady Smith and his team, we operate in Hawaii. So we feed about 10,000 people a day.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. That is incredible.
day.
Well, when I talk to you about the auto industry, you kind of, push it off and get back to Giving Hope. I mean, that's really your passion,
It's
right?
my why.
Yeah.
Every dealer
Yeah.
has to have a why.
Yeah.
So am I building this up to give it to my children? Am I building this up to sell it? Am I building this up to go public? Am I building it up? There's got to be a why.
Sure.
So when you go through a Katrina, it kind of changes your why, because obviously my vision was build it up, sell it, play golf,
Yeah.
get a 200-foot boat, fly around in a G6.
We don't know any dealers that do that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I fell in love with the cause.
Yeah.
Because when you're feeding that many people,
Sure.
you begin to ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped?
Right.
So as a car dealer, we have bad days.
Yeah. Of course.
January was a tough month with the freeze.
Yeah.
Even New Orleans got snow. I had to shut down for a week, which I never did in my life.
Yeah. And if anybody went to NADA, you know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So when I have a bad day,
Yeah.
I just walk outside. I look at that food bank line, and then I realize that's my why.
Right.
Because these people have nowhere else to turn to.
Right.
So, and then the beautiful thing we do too is, you look at this wall behind you.
Yep, it's incredible. So
we
impressive.
build orphanages around the world. Now we now build 9 orphanages or placement centers. So
Incredible.
It's just something we have a passion about. So like Petro Oil partnered with us in Brazil, Capital One Bank partnered with us in India. I mean, a lot of these are vendors who have a presence overseas, partners with Giving Hope,
Right.
and we together go and do something in the community
Yeah.
that
It's
otherwise
life-changing.
life-changing. I mean,
Yeah.
there are more infant orphans in India than the rest of the world combined.
Oh my gosh, really?
So Capital One helped fund that with me.
Yeah.
And now 16 of those kids last year went to college.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that is fantastic. And so much of the donation, as you were saying, I think you're in the top 5 because so much out of every dollar that's donated goes to the actual cause.
Yeah. So they rank through Charity Navigator, they rank every nonprofit because it's a business.
Yeah.
Just like the car business.
Yeah, sure.
Raising money in
Right.
the nonprofit world is a business. The beautiful thing is all the food that we get is donated.
Okay.
So I have trucks that go out to the local supermarkets, Winn-Dixie, Walmart, Rouse's, and when they don't sell that piece of meat, they can't put that meat back in the
Right.
freezer. So I pick it up.
Right.
So I get a value of $1.65 per pound.
Okay.
Then every high school kid, every college kid, every kid who's required to do community service, they come and volunteer, I get minimum wage.
Okay.
So when you look at our Charity Navigator score, right, for every dollar that comes into Giving Hope, 90 cents goes out.
Incredible.
That ranks top 5% in the country.
Wow. That's very impressive.
Yep.
Very impressive. When some dealers, there's a lot of dealers and they're very charitable. They give back to their communities. They build hospitals. They do so much. Why didn't you just say, let's make a donation? Every car that's sold is going to make a donation, and we'll make a strong donation to a charity of our choice. And let me focus on the car business. You are where the rubber meets the road. You're in the trenches doing this. I mean, the tour that you just took us on behind the facility here is unbelievable. And you're right there front and center working with those people.
When a dealer sees the joy on their employees' faces because of what he's done
Right.
and what he allows them to do, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
They're not leaving me for a better pay plan.
Yeah.
That mechanic ain't leaving me for a signing bonus.
Yeah.
Because the mechanic's wife says, oh, no. You're not going anywhere. Because Mr. Duhon, through Giving Hope, is feeding people. We want to be part of that.
Yeah.
They come with their children as a family,
No kidding.
and they serve.
Wow.
So you're right. It's easy just to write a check.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I felt like I was called to be that one dealer that took it to a whole new level. You know, I got told one time by Penske, you have raised the bar.
Yeah.
Because no one thinks like this.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what is the legacy that a dealer wants to leave? Because like my dad said, son, you be dead and long gone, and somebody else's name won't be in that dealership quick. So for me, the legacy is Giving Hope.
Yeah.
So I want to show my employees, especially like we talked about, the millennials, the Gen Zs, because they're into human rights.
That's right.
They're into giving back.
That's right.
I want to show them that we are different and that we do feed people, and we do build orphanages, and we work with substance abuse, and we work with special needs children, and they love it. So for me, it is my passion.
Right. Where do you, what are your hopes and dreams for the organization? If we were sitting here 10 years from now, where do you want Giving Hope to be, and what will it look like then?
Well, our structure is that my partners have the ability to buy out the dealership when I die.
Okay.
So I'm going to designate a certain percentage of those dealerships to Giving Hope.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I leave enough liquidity for Giving Hope to last 100 years.
Okay.
And like I told my children, so at the end of the day, your daddy's not flying in a private plane. Your daddy doesn't have a 200-foot boat. But your daddy is building orphanages.
Right.
And your daddy's feeding people.
Right.
When I die, you're going to be so proud to say that.
Yeah, of course.
So for me, the legacy is as my partners buy me out, and they buy out my estate, do they continue to do it to their kids and their grandkids? So for me, that's the goal. The goal is to create enough values that Giving Hope can last 100 years.
Sure.
And then let the guys who buy out the estate keep doing it in their local community.
Right.
As a young child whose daddy was in the car business, I can remember my dad going to the local church or going to the local playground, and I can remember the dealership sponsoring things like the old grassroots.
Sure.
So I want to make sure that lives on.
Yeah. Is that a prerequisite for your partners that they are as focused on giving as you are? I mean, is that in the part of the DNA of the Premier
I would say this
partners?
to you. A lot of my partners are very good, so they have options.
Okay.
They chose my partnership
Okay.
because of Giving Hope.
Okay.
Because when their wife and their children say, wow, Premier Automotive does all that,
Yeah.
that's where I want you to work.
Right.
That's who I want you to partner with. A wife and a children, they want to see daddy giving back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, of
They
course.
want to see we're making a difference. So you're right. It's not in writing that it's a requirement, but that's why they're with me.
Yeah, for sure. For the dealers that are watching and watching, obviously, the videos that they're seeing right now of the incredible food bank and the kitchen that you've got operating, and they hear this incredible story, what is your message to them? To get involved in their communities on this type of a level?
I would do this. I would, if I'm a single dealer or I'm a dealer of a couple stores, I'm gonna put a little focus group together. I'm gonna pick someone from the service department, someone from the parts department, from the sales department,
Sure.
and say, go in the community and tell me where the biggest need is.
Okay.
Because as an organization, we want to make a difference.
Okay.
Now, could be Children's Hospital, it could be like me, it could be food.
Yeah.
They're gonna come back to you, they're gonna say, these are the 3 areas that this city needs help in. Then as a dealer, pick an area. And then make it a dealership initiative that, yeah, we're gonna write a check, right? But more importantly, we're gonna go serve as a dealership. And then when you do that, all of a sudden you just send a whole new culture to your dealership.
Right.
You're letting them know that, yeah, it's important to sell cars and service cars and make money. But you know what? We're gonna have fun giving some of it away.
Right, right.
And you'll be shocked to see the transformation of the employees toward you as a dealer.
I bet. I know you're not doing it for this reason, obviously, but you must hear from your customers, right, that come in to say, I'm buying a car here because of all you do.
You do have some people who say, I know Mr. Duhon feeds people,
Right.
and I appreciate that, so I'm buying my car from you.
Right.
That's not why we do it.
I know.
I mean, the food bank line, they're not coming in and buying a car.
Right.
You with me? So Giving Hope Retreat Center is a partnership with the New Orleans Mission. It's a 60-acre drug facility. It's the #1 heroin facility in the United States.
Oh my God.
It graduates 61% of heroin addicts.
Wow.
61%. Jeez. Now, what I do there is, yes, I do employ some of them.
Okay.
Because I want to give them a second chance.
Sure.
A lot of them have, police reports. We want to give them a second chance. So
Right.
sometimes there is a motivation to take someone and give them a second chance.
Yeah, it's a good motivation, though.
Yep. We also take people out of Angola.
Okay.
So some of the state institutions, some of the state prisons offer mechanical, HVAC, plumbing. So we do hire them because they're felons.
Yeah, yeah.
And some people won't hire felons, but we do.
Right, right. Wow, that's incredible. So let's pick up there. Talk to me about your journey in the car business, because probably there's a few people that might not know your story. It's really fascinating. How did you get started in the business?
Well, my daddy was in the car business, so I was the 14, 15, 16-year-old kid who would come home and daddy would have a new demo. Like in those days, he'd bring home a Superbird. You're like, wow, that's like
Right.
a spaceship.
Right.
So I got enamored with cars, right? And then back in the 70s, guys who've been around that long would tell you, they drink.
Yeah.
They drink on the showroom floor. So my daddy ended up becoming what I call a social alcoholic.
Okay.
So he was a functioning alcoholic, and
yeah.
they would work and drink.
Sure.
Well,
It was very common.
And most alcoholics are numbing pain.
Yeah.
So disappointment, pain.
Sure.
But the anger would still come out. So he would show anger. My mother wasn't going to deal with that. My mother filed divorce. And then my daddy loved my mother. He was told by his used car manager, really love her, take her to church.
Yeah.
So they didn't take my dad to a Catholic or Baptist church. They took my dad to a Pentecostal church. He goes, these people crazy. But what he saw was happy people.
Sure.
So the second time he went and asked the preacher to pray for him.
Yeah.
And my mama said, I saw your dad do something I'd never seen him do. I said, Mama, what did daddy do? Your father started crying. 'Cause my dad was a hard man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wouldn't ever cry.
Yeah.
He started crying.
Yeah.
Your dad cried for an hour, which told me that your daddy truly repented.
Yeah.
Next day, my dad woke up and went cold sober. Didn't do AA,
Man.
didn't do 12 steps. So wherever that addiction was, the prayer removed it.
Right.
Made him believe this God thing is real.
Yeah.
Got out of the car business and became a preacher.
Right.
So now he's a poor preacher because they don't make money. So I want to go to college. So at 18 years old, son, I'm going to teach you how to sell cars so you can pay for college.
Yeah.
So at 18, I got a job selling cars.
That's good. What kind? What
At
kind
that
of-
time it was Chrysler.
Okay.
Right, which was a tough sell, but I didn't know. Right. And so every summer I sold
Yeah.
cars to pay for school.
Okay.
So then I fell in love with the car business.
Sure.
So when I graduated from LSU, I said, I'm going to be a car dealer by the time I'm 30. So I just hustled. I was a lot lizard. I was a hustler.
A
brother.
lot lizard. I
was
heard that
a lot
term.
lizard.
Right,
I mean, I told some guys that y'all love this social media stuff. Let me tell you what I used to do. Right, I give the operator $100. All the sales calls would come to me.
Absolutely.
I played the game, and I ended up realizing that in the car business, no one tells you what you can make.
That's right.
You're not on salary. You're on commission.
That's right.
So the more you hustle, the more you sold, the more you make. And then I got into a situation at a very young age. I got a 10% buy-in.
Okay.
And my goal coming out of college was that I'd have my own dealership by 30.
Yeah. Wow.
So on December 15th, 1995, I opened up Toyota of New Orleans.
Wow.
As a 100% owner.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
your first store was a Toyota store. That's incredible.
Yeah, that was a gift from God.
That was a gift from God.
Yeah, so
you've gotten many gifts from God, I think.
so
right?
Toyota told me at that time I was the youngest Toyota dealer in the country.
Wow, that's something. That is really something. Backing up a little bit, that situation or your father's experience going into a Pentecostal church and giving himself over, and his giving up alcohol. What kind of impact did that have on your spiritual life?
Well, think of it this way. Any child or any man listening to this video knows what it's like if they lived in an alcoholic family.
Yeah.
It's tough.
That's right.
There's yelling, screaming, fighting.
Yeah.
So one day it stops.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I couldn't argue with that. I used to see my mother and daddy argue,
Yeah.
throw things at each other,
Yeah.
scream, yell, curse, and all of a sudden it stopped.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden I started going to church.
Yeah.
And I saw my mom and daddy not get divorced and stay together. So for me, that made it real. So I couldn't argue with this God thing because it saved my family.
Sure. So that was your driving force
Yeah.
from that point forward. So let's talk about the growth of the company, because Premier, 39 stores later, here we are, only since really 1995. So it's more than a store a year that you've picked up,
Yeah.
right? Talk to me about your philosophy in growing the company, because I understand you've got partners in these
Yeah.
stores, right?
So my daddy taught me a long time ago, he said, son, sometimes 10% of ownership is better than 90% of management. So if you're gonna grow, you need to find people that you can plug in the store
Yeah.
as an owner, so you don't have to be there every day.
Right.
Which is true. So yes, we have partners pretty much in every store, and they own anywhere from 10% to 49%.
Okay.
Two of them have 51% because they're in the minority program.
Okay.
Okay. So the beautiful thing is, if they didn't have the money, I'd loaned them the money.
Okay.
A lot of them had saved up some money, right?
Sure.
So when the word started getting out that I was giving back to the community, that I was allowing partnerships, and I run a management company that doesn't pack anything. I don't pack rent.
Wow.
I don't pack F&I products.
Wow.
I charge a allocation of expenses on so there's no packs. They're not feeding a management company. Does that make sense?
Which is often the case. Yeah.
I've seen some of the management company bills, yeah.
Yes.
So I treat them like a true partner. So they can partner in the reinsurance company if we set one up,
Okay.
right? So we reinsure service contracts or GAP, they can partner in that. If they want to participate in the rent or they want to participate in the real estate, they can. Some of them don't, because you're better off taking your retained earnings and go buy another store because you have a better ROI there.
Sure.
Right? So the fact that I treat them like a partner, that I treat them with respect and dignity, they have the right to buy out my estate when I die.
Okay.
Right? And it's a make it, take it. So they can declare distributions quarterly. So I don't stop them from doing that either.
Okay.
So I treat them like a true partner.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to a lot of these guys because they see the other organizations. They know what they have to go through.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. No question. A number of friends of mine, have been in that situation where they gave their $1 million or $2 million or whatever to get into a partnership and get just feed to death, from the management company, as you were mentioning. And however, there's many success stories out there as well, right? So it's interesting to hear you say that. If one of your partners wants to buy another dealership, do they come to you and say, hey, Troy, I have this opportunity to pick up a...
I got a gentleman in Eric Gentry in Kansas City with 7 partners, 7 owner interests.
Okay.
Vincent Castro, my high school childhood best friend, he got 5 or 6. So I don't limit them.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
As long as they have the emotional capacity and we got the financial capacity, then the deal makes sense.
Yeah.
Not every deal works out the way you want it to. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, sure.
If all 39 dealerships were making money, I wouldn't have to get on my knees every night, right? But I'm on my knees. So
unless you want another 80 stores.
Yeah, no. Be careful what you pray for.
That's
I'll
right.
tell you that too.
That's right. How much of your time is spent each day on giving hope versus?
right now, obviously, I need to give a lot of my attention to automotive. It's a little bit different. This ain't like COVID, right?
Yeah.
So we have to go back to work, right? So right now, I'm probably doing about 70% automotive and 30% foundation. But understand the cool thing about the foundation is a lot of the people that support us are our vendors, right? So it allows me to stay in touch with those vendors, right?
Yeah.
And like at NADA, I'm being pulled everywhere because everybody
can imagine.
They want to come over here and do a Giving Hope Day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our vendors come in and they serve, which is a great. So like I told you, Cox Automotive, Allied Bank, Capital One Bank.
And these are executives. I mean, you even mentioned people like Jack Hollis and others that
Toyota came in and served. Chrysler come in and served. Nissan, Kia, Hyundai.
Yeah,
they all participate because they get to see it.
Right.
Like I said, the difference is I didn't write a check to Red Cross and I didn't see where my money went.
Right.
I wrote a check to Giving Hope and I went and saw feeding people. I saw we fed people.
Yeah. I know you don't do it for this reason, but I will tell you, it's always difficult getting a point awarded to a dealer, right? A new point that's open, or to make sure that if you're going to acquire a store, it's got to get approved through the OEM, as you know. I got to believe that what you're giving and so charitable has got to help and influence.
No, I don't mind telling you a true story. I never thought in my world I'd be a Subaru dealer, but Subaru in the Northwest does really well.
Yeah.
So we put in a package for a big Subaru store, Open Point in Fremont, California, and I made it to the finals. And Giving Hope was the reason I won.
I was going to say, that's perfect for Subaru, right? I mean, that's
their tagline, they even went back and so our tagline is Giving Hope, where love changes everything.
Oh my gosh.
It's one word off of their tagline.
I was going to say.
So they went back and said, wait a minute, Troy, when did you
do that? You're infringing
here's
on
the filing, 2013.
That's great.
So
that's right.
And it was a good thing for them because that store, now remember, I went into Fremont, I did Dog Lover Weekend, I did Christmas, I mean, it set a first year all-time record, 1,785 new Subarus the first year.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Congratulations on that. Wow, that is really something. So let's talk a little bit about today's business, the car business. And we see so much change out there in the industry, certainly even over the last 10 years. You've got EVs to deal with, you've got AI now coming on strong, you've got franchise laws. So let's kind of start there in terms of the franchise laws. You've got these disruptors, so to speak, like Tesla and Rivian and now Scout. Coming into the marketplace saying, move over, franchise dealer. We think we can do a better job of taking care of the customers than you can, and we're going to do that. What's your take on that?
Well, two things. So obviously, the state of Louisiana is one of the few states that fought Tesla.
Okay.
So actually, Tesla's lawyer is a childhood friend of mine, so I know a little bit about that issue. And of course,
what a small world that is.
And I have an office in Fremont that's right across the street from Tesla.
Okay.
I totally disagree that a manufacturer can do what I can do.
Right.
And I can sit there and debate them all day.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get involved with that customer and their kids and their grandkids. And they don't have service centers. So if I'm a Tesla owner and I have to get my car serviced, I'm at the mercy.
That's right.
I got to wait.
Yeah.
I can't go to different locations. I can't go to different dealerships if I'm in an emergency.
Sure.
So I believe that NADA really needs to understand that they need to unify and make sure that they fight this, because you're not going to represent the dealer body and do what they do.
Right.
And Tesla has been successful because the government, you and I, taxpayers, are subsidizing the credits.
I know.
Now, Canada just took the credits away. And the speculation is that we're going to take them away.
Right.
And the reason that we should take them away, they were given to Tesla because we believe that these cars were safer for the environment.
Right.
Toyota has cars coming out, hybrid combustion cars, that they can prove are safer for the environment than a Tesla. Because here's the bottom line. What are you doing with the used battery? That is a bomb.
I know.
And you're going to give people an opportunity to take a battery and create a home bomb.
Yeah.
Who's going to police that?
That's right.
And Tesla don't have an answer for it.
That's right. No question. What's your take on Scout? Coming in. I mean, is it obviously you feel passionate about the fact that OEMs cannot do what Troy does with his dealerships, but Scout's coming in there as a really as a legacy auto as an OEM, saying, well, we're going to carve out this one brand, but
that's the beginning. The domino comes after.
Right.
You've seen Ford Motor Company try it, right?
Yep.
I would tell you this: it gets back what do we pay NADA dues for? To protect the franchise system.
Right.
Scout is a threat to the franchise system.
That's right.
Do not be misled here.
Yeah.
Right? Allowing rental car companies to own car dealerships is a threat to the franchise system. We have to protect the franchise system because we pay the blue sky.
That's right.
We go in the community and feed the people. We go in the community and do things at Children's Hospital. We help the local people. They're not going to do that.
That's right. That's right. There's no question about it. And so where do you think that this is going to end up with Scout?
I think that NADA needs to step up.
Yeah.
I think the dealer body needs to support it financially, and you need to just punch the bully in the nose.
Yeah. Do you have a Volkswagen store in the group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any? Do you ever pick up the phone and go, "What the hell are you doing?"
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But I've been asked to do that.
Yeah.
And at the right moment, in the right location,
Sure.
the right opportunity,
Sure.
I would sit there and say, "Tell me how you would handle this situation with Scout."
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them situations that they can't handle.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the customer is the king. And does the customer really want Scout, or does the customer really want a good car dealer?
Right. Right.
That makes sense?
Yes, of course, of course. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about, if I know you were at NADA, and we had a chance to catch up there. Man, every single solution out there said, we got AI, AI is going to rule this business. And we talked a little bit before we started recording, and I thought your take on AI was spot on. Talk to me about that.
Well, I have friends that are in the AI world, so
Okay.
I get a lot of inside scoop.
Sure.
AI is a threat to certain industries, and it's a big threat.
Yeah.
Because AI in the wrong hands can do a lot of damage, and you're starting to see that. In the automobile business, AI solves two of our biggest problems, and every dealer would agree with me because I talked to a lot of them at NAD. I said, "Do you agree with this?" They go, "Absolutely." Issue number one, we have lazy salespeople, right?
Yes.
Issue number two, we have lazy service writers. So AI comes behind
Right.
a salesman, and he does follow-up.
Yeah.
They do prospecting.
Yep.
AI can't sell the car.
Right.
AI can't demo the car. But AI can take an average salesman and make him a superstar because it takes away the tedious stuff that I don't want to do. I told you I was a lot lizard.
Yeah.
I told my team that if I used to sell 25 cars a month because I thought I was a superstar, right? I said if I had AI, when I was a lot lizard, I sold 50 cars a month.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to feel like, I didn't want to prospect. I didn't want to ask the customer for the CI survey.
You were just out on the point with that fresh customer.
And just waiting for that operator to say, "Troy, pick up line one."
Right.
Right? So AI does the things that most good salesmen don't want to do.
Right.
Prospect, follow up.
Yeah.
Service writers. How many dealers wish service writers would set the first appointment? How many dealers
Sounds
wish,
so easy, doesn't it?
How many dealers wish
Right.
that they get the writer when there's a special order part to follow up so we ain't got to write that part off, right?
That's right.
How many of us wish that the service writer would set the second appointment?
Yeah.
So the good thing about AI, it does all that.
Yeah.
So there's a company I do business with called Impel, and I took them to the mat on this.
Okay.
And they did exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
So we started a campaign on orphan owners. Now, your service manager can argue with you, well, you know what, that's a warranty customer, they're coming anyway, right?
Right.
It's an open recall, they gotta come,
Right.
right? Or that's a customer paid customer, they come in 3 times a year. But the orphan owner, we ain't seen in a year.
That's right.
You done something to piss him off.
That's right. That you don't even know about.
You're not communicating with him
Right.
because he ain't responding to nothing you do.
Yeah.
My first month at one of my stores, AI on the orphan owner generated 10,000 in incremental sales.
Oh my God.
1 month.
Wow.
So when I showed that to the manager, he goes, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
So what happened is AI does reminders and stays in front of consumers.
Right.
The other thing that's a big issue is safety recall. Remember, the manufacturer is only required to make one notification.
Yeah.
So a safety recall is something that has to be fixed.
Of course.
Because it involves the drivability and the viability of the automobile.
That's right.
So AI can go after them and say, "Hey, your vehicle is involved in a safety recall. We can get you in at Thursday at 3 o'clock."
Yeah.
And they keep doing it. And then eventually the customer's like, "This must be real because I
This
got
must be
5 emails."
That's right.
Because they took the letter from the manufacturer and they threw it away.
That's right.
But
if
all of
they
a sudden,
even saw it.
But all of a sudden, when that car gets in an accident and someone gets killed, the lawyer's going to do what? He's going to sue me. He's going to sue the OEM because the safety recall caused the accident.
That's right. Very good point. Very good point. Not to mention, we all know that a safety recall, or when one is in effect and those customers bring them in, up goes your dollars
Well,
of service.
historically, what we've
Yes.
seen is when someone doesn't do the recall, there's other deferred maintenance. So yeah,
Yeah.
most of
Right.
those line items, most of those ROs are not single lines.
Right, right. Also, the customer that comes in, and obviously the service writer says, "Hey, we need all of this, but you only really need this." Well, what about the unauthorized, work?
AI
that needs
can
to be
follow
done?
that up after.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see a lot of video upselling, even by technicians. So
Yeah.
like in the state of California, if I'm gonna do an oil change, I tell my technicians, shoot the brakes.
Yeah.
Shoot everything underneath the vehicle.
Right.
And I pay and incentivize my technicians on any upsells that are done by videos.
Right, right, yeah. Speaking of service advisors and the service department, man, is it hard to get good technicians? It's hard to get any technician. What's the?
So
do you have a
there's
thought
another
on
great
that?
company out there called Sky, who we've seen this in F&I. When I put cameras in the F&I department, what happened? Did my numbers go down or go up?
They went up.
They went up because all of a sudden I'm on camera, right? So I got
showing that menu to 100%.
I'm showing. I got a 100% menu. Well, Sky puts cameras in the shop.
Okay.
So what's happening is you're seeing about a 20% lift
Wow.
in technician production because they're on camera.
Oh my God.
And it monitors when the car hits the lane.
Right.
It looks at the ticket and sees it's a brake job. Well, a brake job takes an hour and a half, right? So the car got here at noon, it's 3 o'clock and the car's still in the lane. The car's still installed.
Right.
It notifies the service manager, you got a problem.
Right.
Service manager comes, now all of a sudden every technician is being on the spotlight.
That's right.
Held accountable.
That's right.
So the production goes up. So that's one of the solutions. Bottom line is if you want more techs, you better go to your local community college and start playing.
Yeah, no question about it. We have a huge turnover, specifically on the variable side of the business. Obviously, I think it's almost 70%, NADA says, which is just crazy. It's been there for a while. I don't know what it is at your stores, but it is a problem out there. What can the industry do to attract and keep good people in their organization? And you touched on some of it already. But.
So let me give you a great example. Think of the Nissan brand, which is really struggling.
Yeah,
right?
they are.
They have a program called Invest in the Best.
Okay.
So what they do is, and I think Volkswagen did the same thing. What they do is take a certified salesman who passes all the tests, and he can get anywhere from 50 to 150 per vehicle.
Okay.
So when the manufacturer buys into the salesman, to the brand, now he can change dealerships, but he can't change brands to get the money. I've seen that work. So even in my Nissan store here in New Orleans, does very well. Still sells over 2,000 new and used, makes money.
Wow.
I got 8 salesmen that are top tier, Invest in the Best. They're not going nowhere.
Right. Wow.
Because they don't want to lose their money.
Right.
I had a salesman last year pick up 50,000 from the manufacturer.
Wow.
Not from me,
Right.
from the manufacturer. So I think that OEMs need to understand that we are in this together.
No question.
So even if we have to co-op this program of certification, product qualification,
CSI,
volume, CSI, let's do it together. I think it's time for us to come together to give them something. So if an average guy sells 10 cars, he can pick up 1,500 to 2,000 from the OEM.
Wow.
So then there's no pressure on them to try to full sticker every customer like we did in COVID.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
He's getting 1,500 to $2,000 just from the OEM.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
I think there has to be a collaboration. So I think NADA and maybe a representative from most brands comes together and say, let's see what this really costs. Because I would put up $100 a car.
Yeah.
Manufacturer puts up $100 a car. That guy provided a CSI, provided that he had product, all the tests, getting $200 a car.
Yeah.
Guess what? He ain't never leaving me.
Right.
He ain't leaving me.
Right. The salespeople that you had that joined you post-COVID, and they saw these incredible grosses, incredible paychecks, and obviously in the last year we've seen those come right back down as we see now a race to the bottom again in terms of gross profit. Did they stay? Did they leave? I mean,
no.
outside of the Nissan.
Listen, the problem was everybody for 3 years built a lifestyle and that income level.
Yep.
So managers went out and bought
Benzes
Ferraris and Benzes and big homes.
Boats.
Everyone thought.
Even though you told them, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Right.
And yes, certain salesmen. Now, there are other salesmen who build the brand. So like I told you, we live in a video world.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things I do here is I train all my salespeople to build a video brand.
Okay.
TroyDuhon.com.
Okay.
And then when you build a brand, your volume is going to go up.
You mean an individual brand for that salesperson, like we see
He has
on
a digital
TikTok and
He has a digital business
TikTok,
card.
rather.
The beautiful thing is that when a consumer inquires about a vehicle, instead of he sends a video and is linked to his digital business card. So on his digital business card, you can see he's a Saints fan.
Sure.
He's a Patriots fan, whatever it is, and you can look for common ground.
Right.
He's a dog lover. She's a dog.
So you're okay with that? You're okay with them building their personal brand under the Premier brand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because that is what's going to separate them from the next salesman. And the other thing is, when they build a brand, let's say hypothetically they got 3,000 Facebook followers, right? I pay them to sell cars.
Yeah.
I also pay them to buy cars.
Okay.
So I'll pay a salesman $300 to $500 through his social media.
Wow.
When he goes to market and says, hey, if you're looking for a car
Right.
and you think CarMax is the answer, they'll make you wait 10 days to get your check. We'll pay you today.
Right.
And we're going to indemnify you against all legal issues after the sale.
Right.
CarMax won't do that.
Wow.
So I train them to buy cars on the street. I got a Texas platform that knocks the ball out the park. They buy over 130 cars a month on 5 dealerships.
Wow. How many states are you doing business in?
Pretty much 8. California, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Kansas, Missouri, Virginia, and Georgia.
Oh my gosh. Do you find any, what's your favorite state to do business in?
Well,
I mean, obviously you were sitting here in your home.
No, I get
but
so
are there, obviously California's got to be.
No, I can tell you about California.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought up that question. So when I said I'm going to go to California, my partner thought I was crazy because I had to make him move from Mandeville to San Diego. But my daddy said, son, why California? I said, Daddy, it's really simple. Lots of people with lots of money that drive lots of miles.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
of course, that's the good side of it.
Yeah.
The bad side of it is the regulation.
Yeah.
So you better have some really good lawyers.
Right.
And I do. Believe it or not, I like California.
Yeah.
And
But a lot of dealers that hear that go, why bother? I don't want
listen,
attorneys.
Everybody wants to be in Texas.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be in Florida. Everybody wants to be in Arizona.
That's right.
Go try to buy a Toyota store
forget
in
it.
Miami
Forget
or
it.
a Mercedes store in Miami.
Forget it.
It's $100 million.
That's right. Or more.
So
Yeah.
my daddy told me a long time ago, son, you're not in the car business.
Yeah.
You're in the people business.
Yeah.
And it's not about what you make, it's ROI.
Yeah.
I want a Mercedes store.
Yeah.
Put up $100 million to make 8, so you get 8%. Whereas we've had a lot of success with Eric and his platform in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Because you buy some of these little rural Chevrolet stores and they're selling 40 new and used. You come in, you do a better job, you start selling 100 new and used. Those little stores will return their money the first year.
Yeah, wow.
So whatever blue I put up, I got it back to free.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't get much better than that.
That's right. That's right. The partner program that you've got really does work because to grow, a chain of stores, you got a crooked GM in place. You got somebody that doesn't have your best interest as a dealer. It can cost you a fortune, right? But when you've got a partner sitting right there,
he's looking at it as it's his money too.
Right, exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these guys, they forget, and I tell them, like, one call, that's all. All you got to do is call me. So before you make a dumb decision, just call me. Because the minute you call me, you have plausible deniability.
That's right.
Because you can say,
I called you.
Boss, I called you, and you
Right.
said to do it.
That's right.
So when the Attorney General comes in or the FBI comes in,
Right.
Mr. Duhon, you got to fix this problem.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to obviously check with corporate counsel.
Yeah.
I'm going to check with the motor vehicle department. I mean,
Sure.
Bottom line is, some of them still do knee-jerk reaction decisions, and
Yeah.
yes, you get your butt handed to you.
Right, no question. One of the areas in California, they always lead the country in EVs. Now, there's been a lot to talk about on the EV situation, and last year we saw EVs really jump up in terms of sales. What's your take on EVs? You think the consumers are ready? You think if we were sitting here 20 years from now, what percentage
I would
of
say
the
this to you.
vehicles?
The reason California is embracing EVs is because they pay $7 a gallon of gas. So
Right.
in Trump's last administration, because I'm in oil country, this is oil country, right?
Yeah.
So they were building a pipeline from Canada all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
And they were going to come across to go into California,
Right.
which was going to drop gas prices to $4 a gallon.
Right.
Right now, this morning, I paid $2.59 a gallon.
Okay.
And I can get my gas anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The problem with EVs is who is going to pay for the electrical grid to be enhanced in the state of California? Because the governor's already telling you certain times in the middle of the summer, you can't charge your car.
Unbelievable.
Think about that.
Forget
and
it.
you're only at, what's the percentage of cars in California that are EV?
That's right.
He wants to go to 30%. At 30%, LA, San Diego, Sacramento,
Right.
San Francisco,
Yeah.
who is paying for the electrical grid to be enhanced? Because the load can't handle it.
Yeah.
And then, that's trillions of dollars. Then where's the solution for the dead bomb?
Yeah.
Because the battery in the wrong hands
Yeah.
can become a bomb.
Yeah.
So you got to solve those two problems. So I don't think until you solve those two problems,
Yeah.
right? I think what you're going to see, like I said with Toyota earlier, you're going to start seeing OEMs with combustion hybrids prove to the American government that this car is safer than that car, because that battery is a problem.
Right.
Right? Whereas this car, look what we're doing with the emissions.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing. And the United States is a combustion, we're fossil fuel addicts.
Right.
We have enough oil and gas in the Gulf of Mexico
Yeah.
for the next 400 years.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Now, China and India, that's a bigger problem. They don't have the gas we have.
Right.
So they have to go EV.
Okay.
But the United States doesn't have to, because nobody wants to pay for the infrastructure to be enhanced, because you're going to have to enhance it.
Yeah, for sure. Are your customers coming in and asking about EVs? Or
Actually, surprisingly, what's hot right now is hybrids.
hybrids? Yeah.
Because they don't like
Yeah.
the uncertainty of where I'm getting my car charged.
Yeah.
And now, don't get me wrong, technology is really going up. So the new Cadillac comes out, Escalade, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in Carlsbad, which is EV heaven.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, they're buying them. But who's buying them? Transportation companies.
Right.
Because they're saving $7,000 a month in gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Because these are black EVs or black Escalades.
Right. Yeah, it costs you a fortune for sure. Talk to me about succession. There's a lot of dealers that are listening right now that are family-run organizations like yours, and you've got your son and daughter, I believe, in the organization. What does that look like? Do they take over the company?
I would say this to every dealer, and we've bought a lot of stores from second generations.
Yeah, sure.
Don't force your son or daughter to do something they're not really called to do.
Okay.
Are they called? Are you calling them?
Right.
Because we as dealers want to call them.
We want to call them, right.
So believe it or not, my son is a great example.
Yeah.
So he's not, he's analytical.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So he went to law school.
Okay.
So I brought him in as, what's the biggest risk I got? Compliance.
Yeah, for sure.
FTC,
Oh, yeah.
OSHA.
Oh, yeah.
So he's my lawyer, one of
Okay.
my lawyers, and he oversees all that.
Okay.
And he does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
So if he comes to me and says, Daddy, I want to take over the business, I'm going to be like any other dealer. I'm going to put a board around him.
Yeah.
A good money guy,
Yeah.
a good parts and service guy, and a rainmaker.
Right.
Because I don't want him to make wrong decisions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't allow your second generation or third generation be in a situation
Right.
where they can make an individual decision.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
And make sure you know they're called.
Okay.
Because there are some of our kids that are called and some that are not called, and we're forcing them.
That's right. And you can tell. You kind of know that, as soon as that parent is no longer here, that store is for sale, or that group is for sale, right?
That name is going to change real quick.
That's right. Let's talk about the M&A activity out there that we see. We saw just record highs of transactions and some crazy numbers that are being paid. I say crazy affectionately, but do you get a call every week from somebody that says...
I get calls from brokers all the time.
Sure.
Because they'll find a store, right, with an acting GM
Right.
that the dealer wants to sell because the kids don't want to be in the business.
Right.
So they love the GM. The GM's the rainmaker.
Yeah.
And they say, well, look, you need to meet Troy Duhon because he'll let you stay in the store and be a partner.
Okay, gotcha.
So I get those
you get
calls.
that call.
I get that call.
Okay, you get that call.
And you're right. COVID caused a lot of people to tap out because
Yeah.
the multiples,
Yeah,
right?
of course, yeah.
And now automobile business is the most cyclical business.
I know. Yep.
But the good news is cars are at a 14-year high.
Yeah.
Old, pardon me, on the road.
Yeah.
Oldest they've ever been,
Yeah.
right? Technology is coming in to where production can go down.
Right.
You're starting to see more shared platforms.
Yeah.
Hyundai, Kia. So when they build Telluride, they build Palisade.
Yeah.
So instead of producing 150,000, they produce 250,000.
Right.
So as shared platforms occur,
Okay.
there's some communication between Nissan and Honda. As shared platforms occur, Toyota, Subaru, right?
Mm-hmm.
GMC, Chevrolet, you can bring production costs down.
Okay.
If you bring production costs down, cars are built better,
Mm-hmm.
lenders are now going longer, so your average loan is now 75 months,
Yep.
right? Because the car can justify it.
Right.
Whereas when I was in the car business, it was 48.
K cars.
Yeah, K cars.
Yeah.
So I think you have to bring that monthly. People buy based on monthly
I
payments.
know.
They were paying $550, now it's like $750.
right.
So what's giving up the $200?
That's right.
Right? And the good thing about us, these old cars, the wheels do eventually fall off. It ain't like your house where you change the air conditioning system and the roof. The wheels do fall off.
That's exactly right. Yeah, there's no question about it.
I think rates have got to come down. I think rates need to come down another point, and I
Yeah.
think the housing industry will shoot to the roof.
Yeah.
And you'll start seeing these 800 beacons who are driving these cars
Sure.
at 2.9 loans, 3.9 loans. They're going to come in.
Yeah, yeah. So you do you ever get calls from the big guys, the Publix, the Lithias out there that say they like to buy the whole?
No, because they've watched these interviews and they know what my exit strategy is.
Yeah. They know you're in for the long haul.
Yeah. Now I've been approached to roll up and go public, but that's not the agreement I made with my partners.
Right.
When I go, you take over.
Right.
I only ask.
It's a great deal for them.
I only ask that what you learn
Yeah.
through Giving Hope, you pass to your children.
There you go.
And your grandchildren.
There you go. In terms of the industry as a whole, will it be a good year in 2025?
I think 2025 will be about a 16-8 year.
That's a good year.
I think 2026 is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
I really believe that you're going to see rates come down.
Right.
Wheels are going to start falling off.
Yeah.
Banks are going to ease up credit.
Yep.
And I say 2026 could be a 17.3, 17.5 year.
Wow.
There's no used cars out there.
Yeah. No, I know.
And the manufacturers that are struggling, I've seen it. So I just got noticed. So Chrysler, all these municipalities need new cop cars.
Right.
So because the Super Bowl was in town, the feds gave New Orleans money, and I sold them 560 new cop cars. So when you drove down the street and you saw these crazy space-looking cop cars, we sold them.
That's fantastic.
So, and I was told that almost every city, Department of Agriculture's, police department, levy boards, all need new fleet vehicles.
Yeah.
So watch what happens there.
Yeah, for sure.
Next
for
year.
sure. Final thoughts from you on the industry, the family, everything that you've put together with Giving Hope. What do you want to leave the viewers with?
The car business is still the greatest business in the world because no one tells you what you can make.
That's right.
The question I would challenge every dealer is, what is your why?
Yeah.
Why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
And you may say, Troy, I don't know my why. Here's what I would tell you. What's the injustice that angers you or the passion that inspires you? And that's what you're called to.
Yeah.
Because the minute you make your dealership and your culture about a why, watch what happens.
Yeah.
Remember, we live in a world of sowing and reaping.
Yeah.
So when you sow into your community, could be simple things, little things.
Yeah.
It don't have to be as big as Giving Hope.
Right.
But when you sow into your community, watch how your community responds.
That's right.
Because everybody needs a why.
Yeah.
So I hope they understand it. If they watch this interview, I am in the greatest business in the country. I need to know my why, and I need to make my why part of the culture of my store.
Yeah. What would your dad say if he was here with us?
He'd be very happy.
Yeah.
Because he knows that I'd have sold it. I'd be playing Pebble Beach. I'd be playing Monterey, right?
Oh, that's funny.
I'd be on Augusta, right?
Yeah.
No, he would be proud because he sees that when God can get it through you, he'll give it to you.
I love that.
So what he
That's great.
sees,
Yeah.
what he sees is that I'm taking the basic commodity of food
Wow.
in the richest country in the world, and I'm feeding those that the government can't feed.
Right.
So in his mind, I'm being the hands and feet.
That's right.
I'm not preaching. I'm not trying to preach.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show unconditional love.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to do this.
Yep.
And that woman you met today,
Yeah.
who looked at me and said, thank you,
Yeah.
I'm feeding people that are never going to buy a car from me.
Right.
But it gives me a why,
Yeah.
and it gives me purpose.
That's right. Troy Duhon, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for watching The Executive Profile, exclusively on CBT News. Today's episode has been sponsored by the Presidio Group.